You think you know carry-ons, pack light, skip fees, beat lines. In 2025, that playbook breaks. Size myths, hidden fees, gate check chaos, TSA curveballs. Today we fix all 14 of the most common mistakes before your next flight. We'll talk about what actually fits under the seat, what airlines don't tell you about personal items, how to keep your bag from getting pulled at the gate, and yes, the one rule that could save your tech, your meds, and your sanity. But stay with me till the end, because the last section will surprise you most. This time, we're shifting from packing tips to something even bigger. The rights and assistance you're actually entitled to as a passenger, the ones almost no one uses, but everyone deserves to know. Because once you understand how much power you really have as a traveler, you'll never look at carry-on travel or airline rules the same way again. The first trap most travelers fall into? Thinking their carry-on is automatically included. That sleek little suitcase you bought to dodge checked bag fees can still surprise you, especially on ultra-low-cost carriers like Spirit, Frontier, or Ryanair. The fine print matters. Depending on your fare type or boarding group, a carry-on may cost more than a checked bag once all fees are added. The catch isn't always hidden, it's often just overlooked. You see a bargain fare, feel like you scored a win, then realize the carry-on allowance wasn't part of that basic ticket. By the time you check in, the add-on fee, sometimes $50 to $60, turns the deal upside down. And even after you've paid, there's another twist. At crowded gates, staff may still gate check bags when overhead bins fill up. It's not random or malicious, it's space management. Still, it means anything you packed inside, meds, laptop, documents, chargers, suddenly rides in the cargo hold, out of reach until landing. That's why passengers start hovering near the boarding lanes well ahead of their group being called. Flight crews even have a name for it: gate lice. It's the anxious shuffle of travelers guarding their place for a shot at overhead space. The result? Slower boarding for everyone. The smarter move isn't panic, it's planning. Read the baggage policy for your fare when you book. Know which boarding group you're in, and set a reminder to be at the gate about 30 minutes prior to boarding. A little awareness beats last-minute stress, and it keeps your trip and everyone else's moving smoothly. So what if you could skip the overhead battle entirely? That's where things start to shift, and that's what we're looking at next. Here's what frequent flyers are quietly doing in 2025. Ditching the carry-on altogether and showing up with one well-packed personal item. Their 48-hour survival kit. I know, it sounds impossible. How can you fit everything into that small space under the seat? But mastering it changes everything. First, it's the one bag that's truly yours, always within reach, never gate-checked, never out of sight. If it fits under the seat, it flies with you. Inside should live your 48-hour essentials: medication, chargers, documents, a fresh shirt, travel-sized toiletries, snacks, and anything you can't replace if your main luggage goes missing. Even if your flight's delayed or rerouted, you'll still have what you need to function, and that peace of mind is worth every cubic inch. Second, remember the 1+1 rule. One carry-on and one personal item doesn't mean you can add a third purse or sling bag. At most airports, small extras, like a handbag or camera case, still count as another item. The trick? Nest it. Slip your purse, clutch, or crossbody into your personal item before boarding. Once you're seated, you can pull it back out without anyone blinking. And about the weight myth. Yes, in the US, airlines rarely weigh underseat bags, but that's not universal. In Europe and Southeast Asia, some budget carriers do weigh personal items at the gate. The safest move? Pack compactly, keep the shape low profile, and don't let it bulge like it's hiding a bowling ball. Traveling with a pet? The pet carrier counts as your personal item, so if your furry co-pilot is under the seat, you'll need to reorganize your 48-hour kit into your pockets or a slim pouch. Most airlines will let you slide smaller essentials beside the carrier, but only if it doesn't block legroom. This isn't about packing less, it's about packing smarter. When you start seeing your personal item as more than just a small bag, it becomes your lifeline, your travel command center that keeps everything important within reach. And now that you've got the right mindset, let's talk about how to actually make it all fit, starting with the packing trick that completely changed how I travel. I used to be a fold and pray kind of packer. Stack it, smash it, and sit on the bag if needed. Hope the zipper holds. Then I found out about the Ranger roll, straight from the military. And no joke, it cut my packing volume in half. Here's how it works. Lay your shirt flat, fold a small lip at the bottom to create a pocket, smooth everything out, then roll it up tight like a burrito. The last step, tuck that roll into the pocket you made. Boom, it locks itself in place and stays neat the entire trip. It's like turning every piece of clothing into a perfectly sealed travel capsule. I used this for a 5-day trip to New York. Layers, weird weather, backup outfit in case I spilled coffee on myself, which I did. Still fit everything into one personal item. No carry-on, no checked bag. A single backpack, packed like a special ops mission. The best part? Rolling this way actually made packing kind of fun. Like Tetris, but your reward is clean clothes instead of a high score. But don't stop there. After you've rolled everything up, there's a way to make it even better. More compact, more efficient, and with a hint of that travel magic. That's what we're diving into next. Once you've got your Ranger rolls ready, it's time to level up. Enter the compression cube. At first glance, it looks like a packing cube. But the second zipper is where the magic happens. You load it up with your perfectly rolled clothes, zip it closed like normal, then pull the second zipper all the way around. That extra layer squeezes out the air, flattens everything, and just like that, your pile of bulky clothes becomes a dense little brick. Forget pumps or vacuum bags. This thing does the job on its own. It proved its worth on my winter trip to Chicago. Jeans, thermals, and a hoodie all fit under the seat in one backpack. No checked bag required. One backpack and a quiet sense of victory. Here's what most people miss, though. Compressed doesn't mean lighter. Your cube might look smaller, but the weight's still the same. Cram too much and you'll blow past the airline limit, or end up with a brick that refuses to flex when you zip your bag. The trick is balance. Pack tightly, but leave a little give so your suitcase can breathe and still close easily. Compression cubes shine with thicker fabrics, sweaters, sweatpants, fleece, the kind of gear that usually hogs space like it's paying rent. And when you pair them with Ranger rolls, you're not merely packing light, you're packing clever. But even the best packed cube needs a home. And that's where most people mess up, by picking the wrong bag. Time to fix that. This is where a lot of people blow it. They do everything right, roll their clothes, use compression cubes, plan every outfit, and then cram it all into a floppy tote that collapses under pressure. All that smart packing? Wasted. Here's the truth. When airlines say personal item, they don't mean tiny. They mean it must fit under the seat in front of you. That's it. So don't shortchange yourself. Check your airline's personal item dimensions, usually hidden deep in the baggage section of their site, and choose a bag that pushes the limits without crossing them. In the US, that's roughly 18 x 14's 8-in, 45 x 35 x 20 centimeters for a personal item, and 22 x 14 9-in, 56 x 35, 23 centimeters for a standard carry-on. Different carriers tweak the numbers, but those benchmarks keep you safe on nearly every flight. A quick seat tip most people miss. Under-seat space isn't the same everywhere. Aisle seats often hide a power box or support beam, cutting your storage space almost in half. Middle and window seats usually have the full cavity open, perfect for structured backpacks or travel organizers. If your entire setup depends on that underseat fit, book a middle or window seat when you can. Your legs and your bag will thank you. My go-to? A structured backpack or a compact travel bag like the Nomad Lane Bento. It opens flat like a suitcase, has pockets for tech, chargers, and even shoes, yet still slides cleanly under most seats. The payoff? No overhead scramble, no baggage fees, no drama at the gate. And when you combine the right-sized bag with compression cubes and Ranger rolls, you'll fit more into one underseat pack than most travelers manage in a full-size carry-on. Best of all, you'll stroll past the gate lice looking calm and collected. Because, let's be honest, you've already cracked the travel code. The first time you try this setup, smart roll, compression cube, one perfectly sized personal item, you won't want to go back. You move through the airport effortlessly. Your hands are free, your pace is lighter, and the boarding chaos feels like someone else's problem. Your bag stays with you, tucked neatly under your seat, right where it belongs. No gate check surprises, no guessing games about whether it made the flight. Everything essential is exactly where you need it. And then something unexpected happens. You feel free. The "what if I need this?" The spiral disappears. You stop hauling things you never use. You pack with purpose, lighter in body, lighter in mind. Before long, travel stops feeling like a task and starts feeling like flow. This isn't about minimalism for its own sake. It's about moving through the world without carrying what you don't need, physically or emotionally. But even with the perfect bag, how you position it mid-flight matters more than you think. And if you think packing light is where the comfort ends, wait until the next part, where one tiny in-flight adjustment can make legroom actually work for you. You already know the rule. Your personal item has to stay under the seat during takeoff and landing. That's non-negotiable. After the plane levels off, though, you've got a little room to play. Frequent flyers know this one. They nudge the bag back a few inches or so. Not into the aisle, not under anyone else's seat, only far enough to free up space for your feet. It sounds small, but on a 3-hour flight, or worse, a red-eye, it makes a real difference. Your knees aren't locked, your legs can shift, and you can actually stretch out without kicking the seat in front of you every 5 minutes. I started doing this on my regular LA to NYC route. It's 5 hours of pure economy endurance, and back when I hadn't learned this trick yet, I'd land feeling like my legs had been in timeout. Now, I walk off the plane without that stiff leg shuffle to baggage claim. A quick note of caution, the bag still has to remain under the seat, and crew instructions always come first. A small reposition is fine once the plane's cruising, but it shouldn't block the aisle, invade another passenger's space, or interfere with safety checks. While you're at it, wear socks, ideally compression ones. They keep things clean, especially if your shoes come off mid-flight, and help your circulation at altitude. Your legs and your neighbors will thank you. And here's a subtle anti-theft move that frequent travelers swear by. When your bag is under the seat, loop your foot gently through one of the straps. It keeps the bag steady during turbulence and makes it a lot harder for anyone behind you to slide it out unnoticed. Simple, discreet, and surprisingly effective. No fancy gear, no special seat required. One small shift, and suddenly, the economy starts to feel a little less like punishment. And speaking of mid-flight habits, the next one could quietly destroy your laptop and cost you hundreds. You've done everything right. Bag packed like a pro. Seats comfy. Snacks? Check. Playlist? Downloaded. You settle in, open your laptop, maybe knock out a few emails, or start yet another rewatch of The Office. Then midway through the flight, your eyes start to blur. You decide to take a break. So you close your laptop and slide it into that slim little pocket on the back of the seat in front of you. Sounds harmless, right? Except that pocket? It's a death trap for laptops. It's not padded. It's not secure. And the moment the person in front of you reclines their seat, that slim pocket becomes a screen-smashing, hinge-snapping torture device. Plenty of passengers have learned this the hard way. One woman on TikTok showed her laptop shattered after someone reclined just once. The worst part? The outer case didn't even crack. It was all internal, silent, expensive, and if that doesn't get you, the germs might. That seat pocket? It's where dirty tissues, snack crumbs, and mystery goo go to retire. Not where you want your $1,000 MacBook chilling for 3 hours. The better move? Slide your laptop back into the padded sleeve in your personal item. Yes, even if it's only for a short break. It takes 5 seconds and could save you a repair bill and a whole lot of regret. Let your laptop rest safe. It's done enough already. You're in the TSA line. It's crawling. And no, it's not always because someone forgot to take off their belt. Sometimes The delay starts with what people bring, or more accurately, what they shouldn't. Every single day, travelers get flagged for things they didn't realize were a problem. A lotion bottle that's slightly too big, a travel knife buried in a backpack, a power bank packed in checked luggage, and in an instant, the whole line slows while someone stands there, hands up, saying, "Wait, I didn't know." Let's clear this up. Liquids, gels, and aerosols, still capped at 3.4 oz, 100 milliliters each, all fitting inside a single quart-sized clear bag. Yes, that fancy hairspray or body mist counts, and some airports are even stricter with pressurized cans. Play it safe. Go roll-on or solid. Sharp objects, don't risk it. Fruit knife? No. Tiny scissors? Only if the blades are under 4 inches. Razor blades? Cartridge style is fine, loose ones aren't. If it's sharp enough to make you hesitate, leave it at home. Power banks and lithium batteries, cabin only, never checked. These cells can overheat in the cargo hold, and airlines like Delta and Emirates now flash warnings during check-in. Keep them easy to remove during screening. Electronics. TSA might ask you to power them on. Laptops, tablets, even game consoles. Charge everything in advance. A dead battery can trigger extra inspection. And believe it or not, people still try to bring fireworks, camping stoves, or butane gas canisters. That's not a gray area. It's a one-way ticket to secondary screening. Want to avoid all that? Do 2 simple things. 1. Check the TSA banned items list before you pack. 2. Ask if you're unsure. TSA's Ask TSA account on X still responds, usually within minutes. A few minutes of prep means you breeze through security instead of holding up a line of tired travelers. Your bag stays intact, your stuff stays with you, and best of all, you're not the reason the guy behind you misses his flight. And just when you think you've nailed the rules, there's one more checkpoint myth that catches travelers every single day. Let's talk about shoes, belts, and the so-called easy security shortcut, coming up next. You've seen it before. Someone glides through airport security like it's second nature. Every move is smooth, every step deliberate. The line flows behind them while others are still juggling trays and belts. That kind of calm isn't luck, it's learned. And the best part, you can pick it up faster than you think. So how do you become that person? Let's start with the first test of every security line: shoes. Back in the day, US travelers had to kick off their shoes at almost every checkpoint, but as of July 2025, that rule's changed. Unless your shoes trigger a scan, have thick soles, or look suspiciously tech-heavy, you can keep them on. Think of it as the TSA finally catching up with what most European and Asian airports have done for years, trusting passengers to keep things simple. Flying through Amsterdam, Singapore, or Seoul, you'll breeze right through with shoes on and dignity intact. Now, let's talk belts. That sleek metal buckle you love, still the #1 culprit for setting off scanners. Here's the fix. Swap to a fabric or plastic clasp belt. It's lighter, safer, and honestly, way more comfortable when you're stuck in a middle seat for 6 hours. Pro travelers even keep a security belt for flying, the kind that keeps the line moving and your dignity intact. Your best security outfit? Think of it like tactical comfort. A light zip-up jacket, non-metal slip-ons, and socks you're proud to show off. Every move is clean and efficient. You'll pass through security like it's muscle memory, minus the chaos, minus the sighing agent telling you to empty your pockets again. Try it next time you fly. See how much smoother it feels when your outfit's on your side. And if you've got your own airport ritual or secret security hack, drop it in the comments below. Let's make the security line our new runway. Duty-free always looks tempting, doesn't it? That shiny bottle of whiskey, that jar of local honey, that fancy perfume you swear is for someone back home. We've all done it. That last-minute grab before boarding, thinking it's the perfect souvenir. But wait, buy it in the wrong place, and that perfect gift can turn into airport trash in seconds. Let's break down why. Anything liquid purchased outside the secure zone, even sealed and wrapped, still counts as a liquid over 100 millimeters. And under 2025 TSA rules, it's standard procedure with rare exceptions. Smaller airports are the biggest trap. They don't have duty-free transit corridors like the major hubs. That means your rum from Nassau, your olive oil from Santorini, or your coconut lotion from Cebu? Gone, straight into the confiscation bin. So how do you avoid this little heartbreak? I've got 3 simple fixes. First, always buy after security, inside the official duty-free zone. Those shops are designed for carry-on liquids and seal them properly. Second, if you really want something from outside security, ask the store if they can ship it. Many do, and often it's cheaper than paying for checked baggage just for one bottle. And third, if you spot that same item at your destination, buy it on arrival. You'll skip the stress, save money, and maybe even get a better local price. Because no one wants to start their trip watching a security officer toss a $70 bottle into the bin. Those bins? They're like tiny museums of good intentions, shelves of forgotten gifts and vacation optimism. So next time you're reaching for that must-have souvenir, pause for a second. Make your purchase count, not disappear. And once you've cleared duty-free, stay tuned. The next move decides what kind of passenger you'll be. Airplanes have their own social code, and breaking it turns a smooth boarding into chaos. You've probably seen it: the aisle clogger, the backpack swinger, the coat spreader who thinks physics doesn't apply at 35,000 feet. It's the little stuff that makes the biggest difference, and remembering it can make you that rare passenger everyone secretly hopes to sit next to. Rule 1. Keep your backpack low when walking down the aisle. Swinging it at shoulder height turns you into a human wrecking ball, one that collects bruised foreheads and spilled coffees like frequent flyer points. It takes exactly 1 sideways turn to fix it. Hold it by the strap, rest it at your hip, and you'll glide through without taking out anyone's knees. But that's the beginning. The next rule will save you from being quietly hated by your seatmate, and it's simpler than you think. Rule 2. Stash your personal item under the seat, not in the overhead bin. Those bins are for carry-ons, the big ones. When you throw a tote or a small backpack up there, you're basically parking a scooter in a car space. Flight attendants notice, and so do other passengers. Keep the underseat space for what it's meant for: quick access to your essentials, without blocking someone else's luggage from fitting above. Rule 3. After taking your seat, keep your footprint small. Hold jackets and small duty-free in your own space while boarding finishes. After bins close, politely ask whether there's spare room. Some crews can hang a jacket or find a corner, especially up front, but closets are limited and may be reserved for premium cabins. The goal is simple. Clear aisles mean faster boarding and fewer delays. Good aisle etiquette is one of those invisible travel skills that makes the entire flight smoother for everyone. And honestly, it costs nothing. Ever felt like the airport was testing you? The lines, the stairs, the overhead bins that somehow get higher every year. Air travel's supposed to be efficient, but for anyone who's shorter, older, injured, pregnant, or traveling with kids, it can feel like an obstacle course. Even seasoned travelers have moments where the simplest things, lifting a bag, reaching a bin, finding the right gate, suddenly feel like Olympic events. What most people don't realize is, you're completely allowed to ask for help. Not only in emergencies, even for small things that make your trip smoother or safer. But how you ask can make all the difference, so let's talk about doing it the right way. If you need extra time to get settled, tell the gate agent you'd like pre-boarding assistance. In the US, airlines are legally required to provide this to passengers with disabilities who identify as needing more time or mobility help under 14 CFR 382.93. Many carriers also extend family or extra time boarding as a courtesy. For example, American, Delta, and JetBlue all allow early boarding for travelers needing assistance, while Southwest offers family boarding for kids 6 and under, and Alaska lets families with children under 2 board early. Policies can vary by airline, airport, or even crew shift, so it's always best to ask politely at the gate. Staff can confirm what's available that day. As for lifting bags into the overhead bin, that's where things get tricky. Many airlines don't allow flight attendants to lift passenger luggage because of injury risk policies. They can point out open space, help angle your bag, or ask a nearby passenger to lend a hand, but they can't always do the heavy lifting themselves. That's why asking as soon as you board, before the line backs up, is your best move. If your bag's heavy, plan ahead. Keep essentials near the top, or use a smaller personal item you can manage yourself. You're not asking for special treatment, you're helping the system work more safely for everyone. And the truth is, most people on board are far kinder than you'd expect when you approach them with patience and respect. A little communication keeps things smooth in the air and on the ground. A quick favor while you're here, share your own travel story in the comments, the one where a small act of help made a big difference. And stick around, because next we're covering something travelers always misunderstand about medical devices and how to keep them safe when you fly. There's a quiet myth that keeps sneaking through airports. Anything medical should go in checked baggage. That couldn't be further from the truth. Devices like CPAP machines, hearing aids, glucose monitors, or portable oxygen concentrators are considered medical devices, not personal items, and most airlines don't count them toward your carry-on limit. But how do you bring them safely? I've got a few simple tricks that could save you a major headache, and you'll be surprised how easy they are. Always keep medical devices with you, never in the cargo hold. Pack them neatly in their own pouch, and if possible, add a small label or tag, such as medical device, handle with care. It's not required, but it helps screeners recognize what they're looking at. If your device uses lithium batteries, they must stay in the cabin under FAA rules, never checked. Some specialized medical equipment, like oxygen concentrators, may need FAA approval or airline clearance in advance, so confirm this when you book. And if tubing or masks look unusual on the X-ray, simply explain that it's medical gear. One calm sentence usually prevents extra screening. Now about medication. Keep all prescriptions in their original bottles, with enough for at least 48 to 72 hours of travel within easy reach. Liquids such as insulin, saline, or IV solutions are generally exempt from the 311 rule, though you should still declare them at security. In airports equipped with new CT scanners, you may not need to remove them from your bag, but procedures still vary by checkpoint. Carrying a doctor's note or digital prescription copy can smooth things out across borders. Think of it as a travel-size insurance policy for your health, because there's nothing worse than realizing mid-flight that your inhaler, EpiPen, or blood pressure meds are 30,000 feet below you in checked luggage. If your health depends on it, it stays by your side, always. Flying with just a personal item might sound limiting at first, but once you've done it right, you realize it's not about bringing less. It's about choosing better. You're not stuck gate checking at the last second. You're not paying hidden fees that quietly double the cost of your flight. And you're definitely not dragging a bulky suitcase down the aisle while everyone's already seated. Instead, you've got what you need, packed with intention, right by your side. The whole trip feels lighter, physically, mentally, and honestly, emotionally too. So whether you're heading off for a quick weekend or squeezing in one last trip before your PTO resets, don't underestimate what smart packing can do. Use your space wisely, learn the rules, and give yourself permission to move through the airport without carrying extra stress. And if something in this video helped shift how you think about carry-on travel, if it made you rethink that second bag or laugh a little at the chaos we've all lived through, take a second to like the video. Share it with someone who always packs just in case and ends up needing none of it. And if you've ever had your carry-on pulled last minute or have a TSA story that still haunts you, tell me about it in the comments. I read every single one. I've got more coming too, like what not to pack in your personal item if you want to avoid getting flagged at security. Trust me, TSA does not play. So I'll see you in the next one. And hopefully not behind someone repacking their entire suitcase at the scanner.